That brings us to risk response strategies. So we identified our risks. We have a long list of risks, okay? And then we assess them. We try to quantify them. That's also subjective, right? So what is the probability of a risk? Well, some can say 80%, I can say 50%, right? What is the impact? Some can say, hey, it's, $1,000, and some others can say, $50. I don't know. It depends, right? But we got to find a number. We got to agree on a number, okay? Okay, risk response. And now the step 3 is risk response strategies. Okay, risk response strategies. So here's the big picture. Okay, as you see, we covered the threats. If the impact is negative, it's threat. If the impact is positive, if you are earning something, you're gaining an opportunity. It's an opportunity, right? Threats are negative. Okay, so if we're gonna come back to that. Risk response development strategies. Okay, so for threats, okay, there's a few things that we can do. We can avoid the risk. We can transfer the risk. We can mitigate the risk. Okay. And in this mitigate, there is reduce and fallback. So it's kind of, this is one group. Okay. I don't want you to be confused. So this is kind of like one group. So that if this is like 1, 2, 3, this is kind of 3A and 3B. And this is 4. And let's say this is 5. Okay. So reduce and fallback is kind of a subset of mitigate. Okay. And for the opportunities, it's exploit, enhance. Let me erase those. It's exploit, enhance, share, and accept. Share is shared. Share is shared between threat and opportunity. Accept is basically the same. Okay, accept. So it's a kind of shared as well. So the only difference is exploit and enhance. But I'm going to focus on threat more today. So I want you to use, when I'm teaching what is it, I want you to use this analogy, okay? You are crossing this old bridge. Okay, it's not really looking good. It's old. If you fall, it's very high. You'll hit the rocks and everything, okay? So you'll probably pretty badly injured. Okay, so think about you're crossing this bridge when I'm discussing, when we are covering the risk response strategies. So avoid modifying the project to eliminate the threat entirely. So what's the threat in, remember, we are crossing the bridge, this old bridge, okay? How can we avoid it? So we can avoid it to eliminate by eliminating the threat entirely. Yeah, that's what I want to say. So you consider the risk and then you say, I'm not going to cross that one. Well, you walk up the hill a little bit, maybe it takes 20 minutes longer, but it's okay. There's no risk, right? So when you choose not to get it, you are avoiding the risk. So you're basically analyzing the risk. You know what? If I fall down, I'm going to die or badly injured. So instead of that, I'm not in a rush. I'm just going to walk up the hill and it'll walk 20 minutes and then go across the. So you're basically avoiding it. How about transfer? So shifting the negative impact and responsibility of risk response to a third party. When you see the transfer, I want you to think about insurance companies and insuring your car, your house. Okay. So you're basically transferring the risk to someone else. Let's say you're going to cross the bridge. If you crossing the bridge and getting that water and coming back to that side, you're basically hiring a stunt, let's say, right? Or your friend, you're paying your friend your stunt. Hey, go cross that bridge, bring that water to me. I need that water. You're basically getting someone cross the bridge for you, but still bring the water to you. Okay. That's what happens when we insure our houses and homes and cars and everything, and companies and machinery. When you have a car insurance, are you basically eliminating any probability of car making an accident? Are you decreasing the probability? No. Well, even whether or not you have regardless of you have the car insurance or not, well, if you're gonna make an accident, you're gonna make it, right? You're gonna get involved in an accident, right? It doesn't matter if you have an insurance or not. Well, does it matter in terms of the impact? Well, what is the impact if you make an accident? Is it different if you have an insurance or not? So basically, you're not making any changes. You're not reducing the probability and decreasing the impact to the car, but you're basically reducing the impact, financial impact of what it causes you, your budget. Okay, so always think about insurance when you think about transfer. Mitigation. Now you are reducing the probability and or impact of the risk. Now you cannot reduce it probably to zero. You may get close, but to a tolerable level. Okay, tolerable level. So how can we apply this to our crossing the bridge analogy? How can you reduce the probability of falling and hitting the rocks? Let's first think about the probability, and then we will move into the impact. How can you reduce the probability of falling and hitting the rocks? Right. If you're in a group or something, then go one by one and maybe walk really, really slowly and test first if the wood there is or ropes, I guess, if they are not rotten or anything, if they are still good, and test it. If one is bad, maybe you can step a little bit wider to the next one. What am I doing now? I'm trying to reduce the probability of falling. Okay. Just being a little bit more careful, just going one by one is basically maybe I can I can have a hanger and whatever, and then I can put the hanger to the bridge, if I can, and then I can reduce the probability of falling and hitting. You can still fall, but maybe you don't hit the rocks. How about the impact, guys? So there's remember, the risk is probability and impact. So by now impact, so I fell, I am gonna hit the rocks, I want to reduce the impact of the damage, the injury. How can I do that? Parachute is a good one, and the other one is good too. Maybe if you're a little bit trained, maybe you can at least hide your head to avoid concussion. Hide your head if you can do that. I don't know. It requires a little bit training, but for example, soccer players, they always fall, but they know how to fall, so they reduce the impact, right? Yeah, so you can just maybe some, I don't know, if you have some protective gear or something, just put them on, right? Maybe you have some special clothing or something. Helmet. Yeah, helmet is a good one, right? You want to have a helmet. How can we do accept them? Anyways, okay, good. So exploit, I'm not going to focus, but I want you to know the opportunities. So exploit is you're eliminating the uncertainty, because now you're eliminating the uncertainty because you want to gain the opportunity, right? You're going to make more money. You're going to seize this opportunity, whatever it is. So if there's anything, hindering your efforts and preventing you getting this opportunity, you want to eliminate this uncertainty. So that means exploitation, exploiting. Enhancing is the increasing the probability and impact. Well, when we are crossing the bridge, it was a negative impact, right? I'm going to hit the rocks and die. But here it's an opportunity. So I want to increase this time the probability. It's the opposite direction of what we did in the threat. Okay. So now we want to increase the probability and impact. Share, basically you're sharing with a partner, with a third party, this time not to give them the burden of, when you have a car accident, all the financial burden goes to insurance company, hopefully. This time you are sharing the opportunity with them, okay, with a third party. And you're accepting, basically, yeah, there's an opportunity, but I don't know, maybe you don't want it, or if it occurs, you're just going to capture the opportunity, okay? So you're not really spending any resources to increase the probability. You're not spending any resources to eliminating the uncertainty. You're basically accepting it, just like we did in the threats.